Hello, friends. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Jobu, and thank you guys for watching, subscribing, and being part of the Jobu Sports Report. Boy, do we have some stuff to get into tonight, and it's going to get crazy. But let's take care of some business here. So how is everybody doing on this St. Patrick's Day? I am Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Jobu. And as always, thank you guys for watching, commenting, subscribing, and being a big part of the Jobu Sports Report. And man, I have got some very interesting breaking news. I just literally uploaded this video because it just happened about 30 minutes ago. Romo on Instagram put up a video of his son, and you could take it as him throwing a little shade at Jerry Jones, basically talking about that deal, pinky promise. In fact, let's watch that right now while I get a little green rum for Jobu, because you know Jobu needs his refill.
Okay, deal, pinky promise, pinky promise.
What am I pinky promising?
That deal, okay? They're gonna do it, okay? Pinky promise.
Is it good?
It's a good deal for me. It's better for me, okay? That it's not for you, it's for me.
Why would I take a deal then if it's better for you?
It's better for me than others.
Let's watch that again, because that is, wow. If that wasn't a message to Jerry Jones, I don't know what is.
Okay? Deal? Pinky promise? Pinky promise.
What am I pinky promising?
That deal, okay? They're gonna do it, okay? Pinky promise.
Is it good?
It's a good deal for me. It's better for me, okay? That it's not for you, it's for me.
Why would I take a deal then if it's better for you?
It's better for me than others.
Yeah, there's that.
Okay? Deal? Pinky promise?
Okay, we'll leave that there. If that wasn't a message to Jerry Jones, you guys, I don't know what was, because that literally is pinky promise. That's basically Tony Romo saying, hey, Jerry, in a nice way, what the F is going on? We said we were going to do the right thing for each of us. And right now, it doesn't seem to look that way. It looks like Jerry Jones has kind of left you in the wind there. He wants to go. Jerry, let the man go. I've been putting this up here saying, please free Tony Romo. You know, holding out, thinking that you're going to get a whole lot more for Tony Romo or anything for Tony Romo at this point, look, just let the guy go. Let him go. He's done everything you've ever asked of him. He's given everything to the team. He literally has left body parts on the field for you. Okay? Let him go. If you get a 4th or 5th round draft pick, it's not going to be that big a deal. And here's the thing. If you end up trading him now before June 2nd, you only get the $5 million. You're better off letting him go now, knowing that you'll get $14.5 million on the cap for this year. You can spread that money out. You're not getting any big name free agents now. There's not a whole lot of guys that you want to say, I got to sign right now. You right now, because you weren't going for these big name people, let them go. Free Tony Romo. It's time to get this over with. They know that You can't keep them. It's a waiting game for them. Denver lets you know we are not giving up crap for Tony Romo. Here, if you release him, but we're not giving you anything for him. It's over with. It's time to go ahead and just move on. Jerry Jones, let him go. Now, let's see. Oh, we got our Eagle fan in here. The Cowboys are falling apart. You know, it's funny how the Eagles, because I've got to get you a clip of Tommy Eagle because he is going crazy right now, you know. I'm not the fake Mark Holmes. I'm the hype man. Okay, so we do have another Mark Holmes there. He says he's the hype man. I don't know if it's the old one, the new one, whatever, but that Mark Holmes is not me. What he does between now and the end of the show. Okay. A lot of comments like that, and we're going to kick you to the curb, buddy. We're actually here to do real conversation about football and stuff. We're not here for a whole bunch of just straight up bullshit. All right. Ezekiel, Jacob Martin, Danner, Giannis, how you doing tonight, everybody? Edison, Ernie. So it looks like we got a lot of people in the house early tonight. Bloomin' Highlights, Nick Johnson, Dank Boy, Cowboys, Phone King, Holloway. We're getting a lot more ladies in the house. I appreciate it. Sven, all the way from Germany. How are you doing tonight? Jacob Martin. How about them Cowboys? Jeez. Jeffrey Watson. Damn. There's too many of you guys. Duck Barber, Phone King, Reckless, Wiz King, Roberto. All right, so we'll come back to some of you other guys. So, did you guys see that clip about it? Do you think Tony Romo, it's time for Jerry Jones to just say, hey, let's go? Because it's been in the news too much. If anybody's happy at the moment, it may be Zeke Elliott because we're back on Tony Romo and focusing less on him. In fact, I'm glad that most of the conversation on him has kind of died out a bit the last 2 days or so. Hey, Dave Wood. Jonathan, Little Frog Juice. J-Wad, Sandman, Jeffrey Watson. Here's what's funny, J-Wad, because you got me in trouble, buddy, because I've said J-Wad the Eagle fan, and people are like, no, man, J-Wad is a Dallas Cowboy fan. I'm sorry, I don't know who J-Wad the Dallas Cowboy fan is. I only know the Eagle troll that we have that's in here. So I need to find the Dallas Cowboy J-Wad as well. So when I've said that, I've been beat down on it. So thanks a lot. There's Sarah Green. She never lets me down. Kevin and Kevis, Wiz Young, Jackie Smith. She's getting like Miss Smith too. Jackie is getting just like everybody else. You're here all the time too. Hello, Eric, Reckless. Damn, we got everybody in the house. We should have Law joining us in here a little bit too. He's going to be part of the conversation. It's funny. Sometimes I enjoy doing this. Sometimes it gets to be difficult because, yes, everybody, Law is coming, okay? Definitely is coming to the show. He'll be on in a few minutes or so. He's got little ones. My kids are not little ones anymore, so I have to worry about putting them to bed. But it's hard because Dallas Cowboy fans are very, very passionate. I mean, they're passionate. And sometimes, no matter what you say, you'll get beat down from it, flat out. And I guess that's because everybody loves the Dallas Cowboys. But the thing that drives me crazy is this. I don't care who you listen to. I don't care if it's Stephen A. Smith. I don't care if it's Adam Schefter. I don't care if it's NFL Network, ESPN. I don't care what talking head that you talk to or listen to. Nobody's right more than 50% of the time. And I can't honestly tell you what it makes to be an expert because, I played football. I watched a lot of football. I studied a lot of football. Does that make me an expert? I don't know. So a guy like Adam Schefter, he didn't play football. He's covered a lot of football. Does that make him an expert? Did he go to college for being a sports analyst? And if he's no more right than I am, then what's the difference? Maybe you guys can tell me. I analyze and probably put in as much work as they do, come up with different conclusions. Sometimes mine are right, sometimes they're wrong, just like theirs are. But the thing that's killing me is how many Dallas Cowboy fans have already given up on next year, and we haven't even gotten to the draft. I mean, literally, every move is made. It's the worst thing in the world that's happened. Some of the same people that were saying our defensive backfields are bums a month or two ago are now crying that we didn't re-sign them. And I'm kind of like, you can't win. You can't make some of these people happy. The way I look at it is this. When we played against Green Bay, our defense didn't bust a grape. They couldn't bust a grape. We lost with you. They couldn't hold them for 38 seconds. Aaron Rodgers had all damn day to throw the ball. We had guys out there to cover, but they failed. So if I lost with you, well, I could damn sure lose without you. So in my mind, sometimes change is good. I told you what I really would have liked to have done. I told you I would have liked to have gotten Calais Campbell. And, of course, I've got people now that are saying we should get Richard Sherman. You know, you talked about getting Calais Campbell, and now you're being a hypocrite because you're not talking about getting Richard Sherman. Well, there's a big difference between the two. Richard Sherman is under contract making $11 million a year, and you'd have to trade for him. Calais Campbell was a free agent that we thought maybe the $10 million range, you might be able to get him. That would be a worthwhile get. You're paying money, but you're not giving up draft picks. They're not apples to oranges. And to me, my thing is, if you're going to drop a whole lot of money, your better bet is to get a pass rusher. And the reason that is a pass rusher helps all three levels. You can have the best cornerback in the league, but if you don't have any pass rush to get to the quarterback, he's not going to be able to hold up for 7-8 seconds. I don't care if it's Darrelle Revis back in his heyday. If you give Aaron Rodgers that kind of time, he's going to find people open. And one great cornerback is not going to help the other guys because maybe they'll just go to the other guys. But if you got an unstoppable guy on the line that is making the quarterback shit his pants, then that's a difference maker. It makes it easier for the linebackers. It makes it easier for the cornerbacks. So that was my rationale for going for Calais Campbell, because to me, he was the best value in the league right now for free agency, the most stable, the guy that every year is consistent. It wasn't guys that are having a contract year that all of a sudden stepped it up that contract year, and then they go someplace else and drop off the cliff. He's going to give you everything, but that one didn't work out. So what the Dallas Cowboys plan to me is we're going to keep the offense the way it is because it worked. We're going to keep it Dak friendly. We're going to keep the guys that Dak already knows and hope that they're able to take another step up. We're going to keep the line together. Doug Free, clearly, and I was sitting here doing my tape before here, getting some clips, and I'm watching one of the drives there, looking at Doug Free, and everybody who's crying that, oh my God, we got to get a tackle. Well, we had to get a tackle before Doug Free retired. Because Doug Free, I'm watching one drive, he's got given up 2 sacks and an offsides. We can definitely do better than that without having to bust a bank. Definitely. Almost anything. And don't get me wrong, because Doug Free has been a great player. He's been a good leader in the locker room. It's just he just doesn't have it anymore, and it's time to go younger. I still would like to see Collins out there and see what we can do at guard, but we'll see how that works out. But back to my original point. There's all you guys that are out there like, oh, we got no defensive backs. You know, we've got no pass rushers. Well, we didn't have a whole lot of pass rushers to begin with, but we do have guys that may be back from injury. Topper. Hopefully Crawford, if he's not cut, gets that shoulder right, and he can play better the last few years. He's been playing with a hurt shoulder. DeMarcus Lawrence, he had his back surgery. Hopefully that thing will heal and he can go back to where he was 2 years ago. Those are improvements. And with the offense pretty much there together, the focus is definitely going to be on the defense through the draft. So when you start looking at that first pick, the whole defense is wide open. You can get a defensive pass rusher if the good, guy you've got graded there is there, or you can go for a cornerback or a safety. And if nobody is really there, if a guy that you really like is maybe a little bit back, hasn't been drafted yet, maybe you move back and try and create an extra pick in there. So it's going to be a lot of different things that you'll be able to do with the draft if you're not having to focus on the offense as well. The offense doesn't have as much need as the defense. And what you have with your offense, hopefully, you'll be able to outscore a lot of teams anyway. And if they play ball control, run the ball more, keeping Darren McFadden, along with Zeke Elliott, if he can stay out of trouble, is going to enable you to be able to control the clock. The thing that got me with Green Bay was, and my biggest pet peeve with Jason Garrett is sometimes he thinks he's too damn smart. What got the Cowboys the season that they had was ball control. Running the ball, and of course, a lot of you'll say, oh, Dak Prescott's just a dink and dunk quarterback. You know what? I'd rather go for high percentage passes, control the clock, keep getting first downs, and keep the other team off the field. But you'll notice in that Green Bay game, the second one, after we mauled them the first one, he got pass happy. Dez had great stats that day. Dak and Dez lit it up. But the problem was, when you start lighting it up and moving down too quickly, you exposed your defense. You left a lot of time on the clock. And instead of running Zeke, who was averaging over 5 yards a carry during that game, we ended up doing what we always do, pissing down our leg. So, all that being said, we have Law Nation in the house. See if we get you up on the screen. Bada bing, bada boom. How are we doing tonight, Law?
Fantastic, man.
Let me get the volume up on here. I'm sorry. I'm not completely up to speed here. Let me get the speaker on. Can I hear you now?
Yes.
Can you guys hear Law there? Okay, good. Man, I don't know if you just saw that breaking story I just had there a little bit ago with Tony Romo.
What happened?
Oh, Tony Romo's son. They have an Instagram. Did I just lose you? They have an Instagram video out there where he's talking to his son, and it's only his son there, and he's saying, "Pinky promise, Dad. You remember that deal?" He's like, "What deal?" "That deal. It's better for me." He said, "Well, why would I do that?" "Because it's better for me, and you promised." If that wasn't a shot at Jerry Jones, I don't know what is. So Jackie Smith says, "Hello, Law." You know, it's amazing how all of a sudden you come on here and the numbers just bump up, man. I need to just turn the show over to you, man.
No, man, it's your world. I'm just trying to pay rent.
Oh, shit. Well, if you're trying to pay rent on here, you're in deep trouble then, man. Sandman, yeah, we need more picks. I agree. That's why I was talking about trading back. But to me, I touched on it before you came on about the whole Tony Romo situation. It's a waiting game for the other guys. They know that the Cowboys can't keep them because of the salary cap, and you're not getting crap for them. I think we need to just say, Tony, thank you for everything. Go do what you want to do, because it's going to start getting ugly. With the quietness we had until tonight of the whole situation, it's going to start getting really, really bad, I think.
Yeah, we got so many things to uncover this year. But if you look at it collectively, I was thinking about, somebody mentioned that we're going to be garbage without these impressive Brandon Carrs of the worlds and the Morris Claibornes of the worlds. We're going to be garbage without J.J. Wilcox and what was the other guy, Barry Church. But from what I thought, what were they doing before? What have they done for us lately anyhow?
That's exactly what I said, because in the Green Bay game, they couldn't bust a grape. You know, we
Yeah.
couldn't get any pressure on Aaron Rodgers. I had never seen a quarterback actually not even fasten up his chin strap while he's playing. And I've gone through, and it was painful to watch that game over again. But I'm sitting here looking at him, chin strap buckled up on this side only, and he's just playing, and he's back there all day long picking them up. So if I can lose with you, I can certainly lose without you. And I always like to go back in history and look at things, because when you look back at 2013, when we had the worst defense in the NFL, we lost DeMarcus Ware, we lost Jason Hatcher, who was in a contract year, had 11 sacks, and Sean Lee got hurt. It looks like you froze up on me, Law. Yet that defense that was so bad it couldn't stop a high school team got better the next year with those guys out. And it's possible that you get guys who are young, hungry, and need an opportunity. There we go. There we go. All right.
Yeah,
we lost
it
it
on my end. I apologize.
Oh, no problem. It froze up on it. Like I was saying, that sometimes change is good, because you look at the amount of money. I mean, Claiborne was asking for $7 million. I was like, what? Are you kidding me? What?
Yeah.
Brandon Carr got $24 million for 4 years. So the amount of money we're looking at paying those guys, I'm not sure it was worthwhile. Now, of course, everybody's saying trade for Richard Sherman. What do you feel about that?
Richard Sherman is a cover 3 zone cornerback. He don't play as man-to-man as much. Now he can play man-to-man, but I just don't think that he can just come in and just say, okay, I'm going to shut down this side of the field, because it's just not his play.
His game. Yeah,
we don't have the Seattle Seahawks front 7, so or front 4 or what have you. We don't have that type of commodity or luxury, I meant to say. So
right.
It's just not the same. I hate to bust somebody bubble there, but it's just, and then $13.5 million for him.
And a draft pick to trade, or multiple draft picks, because they said for the right offer, and I kind of look at him as a guy like Nnamdi. Nnamdi was in the right system when he was in Oakland. He got the big payday to go to the Eagles, and it just didn't fit. And to me, that's the kind of thing it would be for Sherman. Sherman's 28 years old. He's got the attitude and everything else. But to trade for him, I don't think that that's the impact that we need for that kind of price range. And again, I still think the pass rusher is where we need more help than anything else. But we have some guys that are there. Hopefully, Tapper will get healthy and end up starting to show something this year. Hopefully, DeMarcus Lawrence, that back will heal from that back surgery, and maybe he'll be able to take a good step up. Maybe Irving can take a step and start playing more than just as a part-time basis. So there's some decent parts that are there. And even Tyrone Crawford, I don't think he's a bad player per se. He's been playing injured the last couple of years with that shoulder. And not having that shoulder, you get hit on that shoulder and it's dead. There's not a lot of stuff you can do. You got to understand, you got to be in tip-top condition without having those injuries. So there are some pieces there to work with. If we can have a good draft and focus on the defense, I think that maybe we'll be okay.
Yeah, you are 1,000% correct. And then on top of that, just don't count out or just don't look over the first round, whoever we pick in the first round, because you get that 5th-year option. And that's like easy money, So we should never sleep on the first round pick or what have you, because of the 5th-year option. Just save money on the cap going towards the future, because we can do a lot of money. We can do a lot of things with Zeke. Once it comes down to it,
right?
The 5th-year option, if he's kind of like falling off the wagon or what have you, we can say, you know what, we're gonna get rid of you on the 4th year. Or if he's just blowing it out of the waters, then we can say, okay, we can sign him collectively with the same price range of what he's paying him now for the 5th year.
Well, I've always getting questions about Jalen Smith. Jalen Smith is rehabbing. He's coming along, although the nerves aren't firing the way they had hoped they would be. Looks like he'll be playing with a brace, but should be there for all the ATAs. So we'll see what we have with him. He still has the I can't remember the term, but basically it's like a limp foot where the
drop foot.
Yeah. And just don't allow it to get pulled up like it should. The brace ends up helping. We'll just have to see what happens with that. And somebody else was asking about should we trade for Sheldon Richardson? I'm not a big Sheldon Richardson player. To me, he's got a bit baggage and stuff, some off the field issues that I'm not too crazy about. Is he a decent player? Yeah, he's a decent player, but I don't know that he's going to be that impactful. Law may have a different take on that, but
yeah, I like the same philosophy that you said earlier on one of your videos. Like, we got to get out of the fantasy football mindset.
Oh, you watch them then? Yeah, but that's
man.
It's amazing how anytime anybody's released, all of a sudden everybody says the Cowboys need to go for that guy. You know, we're still talking about some people that we should still get AP, and I'm like, AP he's got too many miles on him. He hasn't been staying injured, been injured a lot. And once you hit that 2,000-yard mark, running backs go downhill. They get old like that. They're like a boxer that gets punch drunk. I honestly think the Darren McFadden signing was a better signing than if we had went for AP. We got him affordably priced. And the way the Cowboys will use him will prolong his career. And he's a good change-up back because he's a good blocker. He's got good hands coming out of the backfield and catching and stuff. And he knows the system. So for me, I think that was a good signing. I still have people that keep telling me that, oh, we should be going for AP. I had a couple of people who said that Marshawn Lynch is interested in coming back. But again, I'm sitting like, he was out of football for a year, and you're going to have to give up something to Seattle to get him. It's like, stop playing fantasy football that every guy that's released, we should have him. Especially when you start looking at them, you're not thinking about what they did last year. You're thinking about what they did in their heyday. So that player from 2 or 3 years ago may not be the same player that it is today.
Yes, you 1,000% right on that too as well. Another thing is there's only been, I think, 3 players that came back as an older running back that was like superb. And that's like going back, like Marcus Allens of the world. Remember him? When
but he sat on the bench for years because he was in Al Davis's doghouse. So he didn't have a lot of mileage on him like AP. AP was running to the ground because, they literally did not have a passing game. It was all AP. And it's just been, his body's just been worn out.
And that other guy was Curtis, played for the Patriots. Jets, Patriots.
Curtis Martin.
Curtis Martin.
Yeah. Well, we have Zeke we have Zeke the Freak, at least at the moment. I'm kind of worried, to be honest with you, because the NFL has been so hush-hush about Boobygate, as well as the investigation is going. When the NFL is quiet, that scares me because you don't know what's coming down the pipeline. I would have thought that we would have heard something on the whole Boobygate thing and all. I'm glad that the talk has kind of died out a little bit on that, but I'm kind of worried a little bit.
Yeah, whenever you got Roger Goodell in the midst, you can never sleep good at night because he can say, well, you know what, due to conduct detrimental to the NFL, we're just going to suspend him for at least 1 game. Just like the Josh Brown situation, the kicker. He had a domestic violence. The rule of thumb was it was six games, right, off top. But then he was like, well, we're just going to suspend the guy for 1 game because of this and that, And then all of a sudden, the media kind of got into it, and then it was like, well, the Giants went on ahead and released the guy, but he was actually suspended only for 1 game.
Right.
So it could be the same situation,
Yeah, well, somebody, and it's kind of scrolling through too fast, but somebody was talking about Ian Rappaport being a headline freak, which is basically, I swear, listening to him and Adam Schefter about the whole Zeke Elliott thing that the NFL is investigating and stuff about domestic, they kind of blow it out and make it sound a lot worse because like Ian Rappaport was the one who went through and said that the police had been called to Des Bryant's house 6 times. And it made you think that when you listen to the report that he's a thug, man, he's always doing something. The police are always there about to arrest him or arresting him and things like that. But when you looked at actually the cases that were there, one of them was called because a baby was locked in the car by accident and was sleeping, and they need to get the keys out of the car. And you had Rich Eisen saying, that poor baby. Oh, it wasn't like it was 100 degrees outside. Okay, it wasn't like the child was in there screaming. The child was just chilling. But they made it sound like it was the worst thing in the world. And when you looked at the whole incident that happened, we find out later that Zeke and her are going on vacation together. So there's a relationship there. Not saying that it was right. Don't, ladies, please don't condemn me. I'm not saying that it was right, but he's 21 years old. Now, I don't know about you. 21 years old was a long time for me. But there's some things that I look back now and say, damn, I can't believe I did that shit.
Right.
You know, because that was really, really stupid. If I saw my kids do that, the same thing, I'd be pissed off. So he's 21 years old, out there having a few drinks. And it's not like she wasn't going, check this out. Zeke Elliott, check this. Okay. So again, it was wrong. But it's blown out more than what it really was. At least that's my take on it.
The media is talk when in doubt, talk Cowboys, you know. So that's just what it is. They're gonna get out there and they're gonna say any and everything they can find about the Cowboys and about how I think Stephen A. Smith said that like you said, the players were wanting to leave because of the contract issues of the environment of the Dallas Cowboys locker room, that they wanted to get paid. What kind of insider he is, you know, spreading, you know, crazy stuff.
They want to get paid, and that's about the line. They know the Cowboys got no money to pay me, so I'm gonna go someplace where I get paid. I mean, it's dollars and cents. It's not rocket science. It's dollars and cents, and you can't blame a player because you only have so many years to take as much money as he can, when he can, and where he can. It's not personal. It's just business. Because you know what? If you don't perform, guess what the team's gonna do? They're gonna replace you. So why not do the same thing?
Right.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed, man. So all I can say is from here, just looking at the chat log, I hear some people still talking about start Romo and stuff like that.
Oh, God,
it's over with. It's done. That's water under the bridge. Look, you got nobody else that love Romo more than we do. But sometimes you just got to know when the casket is about to close, and then you got to put the nail in it, and it's done. And that's just the bottom line. You know, I'm not trying to bring up Romo again, but just let it go. Let it go.
They remind me of Jim Carrey. So you think there's a chance? You know, it's like you just let it go, guys. Look, Jerry Jones is trying to squeeze as much publicity out of this thing. He's trying to see if he can squeeze an extra pick out of it. But the cast has died. I mean, the die is cast.
Right. And look, man, we love him, man. We're not gonna erect a statue outside the stadium for him, but what we're gonna do is we're still gonna support him from afar, just like we did to Marcus Ware,
right? And
say, hey, you know, it's time for us to rebuild with what we have, you know. And looking at this defense, I heard that people was talking about the defensive line and defensive front last year, regardless of the scenario, we ranked 13th in sacks. 13th in sacks and quarterback pressure. So, but our cornerbacks, we ranked 26th. That's a lot of gap. So we can find some playmakers in this draft who can be comfortable or equal to what we just lost.
Yeah,
in my opinion.
Ezekiel Elliott, 21 over here. It's not a problem of grabbing boobies. It's just grabbing them in public, okay, without permission. So I'm not saying don't grab boobies there, buddy. Okay, come on. Just be smart about it, okay? But the thing that kind of bothers me, and I'm older than you, or at least I think I look a hell of a lot older than you, Law, unless you found the fountain of youth. I hope none of you have ever had to live through discrimination. I did. My elementary school, I was the first class that was integrated. So when you think that racism is something that happened a long time ago, yeah, I know I'm old, but I'm old enough to remember being called nigger going to school. I remember race riots where the police had to escort us to school. So I understand racism. And I had a point here. Oh, when you look at what's been happening with Zeke Elliott, the way it's characterized is he's a bad guy. Can you believe what he did to this woman in public? And it was made like he assaulted her. When you think about it, it was like he just walked up to a woman out on the street and just pulled her top down. Isn't that the way it was presented to you, Law, when you saw the headlines and stuff on it?
when I saw it, you know, I said, "Wow, the lady got nice tatas," you know. But at the same time, she was sitting there. She was pointing at whoever she was pointed at Zeke, like you said, right. And then she pointed back at the guy, and I'm thinking that she was enticing or trying to get the guy attention so he can toss her the beads, and right. She will show him the materials.
Well, so, but here's what's also interesting too. Okay, again, because there was a second video that now I do not see out there anymore. They were playing it on ESPN. I did a video of it where it was from a different angle. The woman who's standing right behind the other woman, she pulls her top down and pulls her stuff out and then puts it back in. So to me, he was just going on with, I mean, we don't know what happened 5 minutes before. This may have been just a straight flash and pass booby. Yeah, I mean, just booby everywhere. But there was definitely another woman who was popping her stuff out. So if this is what's going around, it's kind of like a frat party. But when you hear about Zeke, oh my God. And you look at the headlines, Zeke Elliott exposes woman's breast in there. Mm-hmm. Zeke Elliott under investigation for domestic violence, exposes woman's breast on a parade, at a parade. And you're thinking, if you don't read it, you see those headlines like, oh, this is bad. But yet, Gronkowski, it's funny when Gronk does stuff. Gronk had the Drunken Cruise last year around this time, which was just raunchy and raw. He's up on stage drunk, and he offered $10,000 to a couple to screw on the stage.
Yeah.
So you're telling me that's okay? You're telling me when he falls over drunk over a fence, that's okay? He can motorboat a lady to the club, and of course people will say, oh, well, he had permission. She put her hand on the back of his head. So of course he had permission. So it's okay. He's just a party guy. Because you see all the women talking about it. There, Gronk does it again. He's at it, and he's having a great time out there. Zeke does something, oh my God, sexual predator. And that's where I hate to put race into it, but if you have two examples of almost identical stuff, and it's viewed 180 degrees different, I'm sorry. It puts a flag in my mind.
We're going to get that regardless. Tom Brady yells at a player on the sidelines. It's passion.
Yeah.
Dez Bryant yells at anybody on the sideline. You know,
angry black man.
Thuggery. Yeah. It's foolery and all that stuff. So you're going to always get those two sides of the tail or two sides of the coin. But the best thing that we can do is just try to win.
Blake, I still haven't seen that picture of you in your Jobu Sports Report shirt, buddy. I need that picture, buddy. Jackie, you're 100% right. Yeah, he's a rapist, a serial assault on TV. That's how it was characterized. And like I said, I'm not saying that either of the behavior was right. Neither of them should be doing some of the stuff that they were doing. But it's funny how it's just Gronk. You know, he's a party guy, and this guy should be locked up. And if you don't see that, then maybe you've never dealt with racism. And thank God for you that you haven't. I know it because I've lived through it. And that's part of the reason why I was actually a Dallas Cowboy fan, because my father going through segregation and racism and everything else, knowing that the Redskins were the last team to integrate and had to get a court order to do so, couldn't support them. And that's why I was a Dallas Cowboy fan. Not that the Dallas Cowboys were, a lot better, but they had black players on their team at least. So that's just my take on it. And I hope I didn't offend anybody. I just try and keep it real on the show. I try and give you guys my thoughts, my experiences and all that. And you can do with them as you want. You can like them, you can hate them, you can just say, screw you and not watch. That's fine. But I'm always going to tell you what I honestly and truly feel. And like I said, I wish at this point in my life that it wasn't about color, but sometimes it still is.
Yeah, it's always going to be a driving point at some point. But I just kind of just take it as it comes, man. It's just going to be crazy all the time when they go back and forth with race and color. And we all know that that's just always part of the United States. It's always going to be like that.
Yeah. But I still don't feel, again, we've had some losses in free agency, which a lot of them were expected. We knew we weren't going to be able to sign everybody. And hopefully they're going to be able to upgrade some stuff. I still think Tony Romo will be released and will be a June 1st cut. We end up getting that $14 million that because they're spreading part of it out over the 2 years. There's some other ways they can get some money, but I think now that all the big name free agents, the teams have started spending those money, and when you start spending $15 million a year on a guy, all of a sudden your cap money goes way down. That draft comes through next month. You're going to see a lot of guys that are on the streets because we drafted a young guy to take your space. So come May and June, there's going to be some decent players. You know, they're going to be some veterans. They're going to be a little older and stuff that you're going to be able to pick up at bargain rates that may be able to help our team. So don't panic yet. You have no idea what the team's going to be. For all we know, we might end up having some kind of blockbuster trade that just knocks your sock off. So just relax and wait till the team goes and takes a nosedive before you go ahead and lose it. Because for me, worrying never fixed the problem.
Right.
Okay.
And then on top of that, what you were saying is that there's always a second wave of free agency, and Jerry Jones is going to hold Tony Romo until the draft because he that's just what he does. He always stated that the deadlines make deals. So at the end of the day, we could be with the 28th pick, and then you hear that little noise, and then the little noise. You know that little noise when you're watching the draft, and it comes across the screen. There's been a trade or what have you, and the Dallas Cowboys have moved up to the 20th spot, and the Denver Broncos have now selected Tony Romo in a two-way trade or something like that.
Yeah,
that could be possible.
That's possible.
Everybody's saying, "Oh man, Jerry Jones struck gold again."
Right.
So it could be a scenario like that, or it can be just like you say, after June 1st, he's designated to be cut anyhow. You get $14 million. You use Doug Free money. That's $15. That's another $5. 14 and 5. That's 19. And then you just never know what else comes down through the pipeline there, and then you can get you a good player that's been released, like you said. So that could be possible,
Yeah. Well, Ernie, I got to tell you, green rum drinks, they're really good too. So maybe if we were all green, it would be okay. And forgive me, guys, I will butcher up names and everything else. A little secret about me. Okay, I'm going to tell you some personal stuff here. Growing up, I had the hardest time in school. I was dyslexic. My E's were C's, my B's were B's, and things like that. So I will mispronounce a name or say something wrong. So forgive me. I'm great with stats and numbers like that and remembering things like that. So when I butcher up your name, forgive me, and I don't mean to do it intentionally. So Guerrillamo, I love your point there that you're a white guy, but you see that there is a double standard and racism has a lot to do with it. I'm glad that you say that, because the thing is as long as we deny there's a problem, we'll never work on a solution. And I'm not saying that I know black people that I can't stand, are the worst people in the world, but I know white people that are the same way, that they're fantastic people and there's bad ones. So you have to judge each person as an individual. And if we could all get to that point, I mean, I'm a 51-year-old black man who's been through all kinds of stuff, but I can relate to the 16-year-olds that are football fans, the ladies that are here that are in their 20s or 30s or 40s. And if we all just have a conversation, everything would be so much better. But I digress and got away from football, so let's not get into race relations or anything like that. Let's get back to football here. I'm sorry, Law.
No, man, I dig your story, man. I understand, we all come through some type of fence that we must overcome or jump over. I always thought that in life, if you're not going through something, then you never will be as strong or as hard as you should be. So, I mean, look, when you went through wherever you went through, look at you now. You're successful. You get a chance to travel the world and have this channel and reach out to people who would like or similar passion. So that's what life is all about. So keep doing your thing, man.
Yeah.
Like I said, I watch your show every day.
Oh man, gee, thank you. I try to get to yours too, man, but I'm running around like a crazy man. I'll go ahead and pop a video in, upload it, and hope it's not fucked up. Oh, excuse my language. Let's hope it's not messed up when I upload it, because I'm at work at 6 in the morning, sometimes 4 or 5 o'clock. So I'll get an update or something. I'll go ahead and try and shoot a video up on there real quick. But Sven, you're right. We do need defensive players, without a doubt. And unfortunately, or fortunately, however way you want to look at it, Jerry has focused in on that offensive line and the offense for the last 6 years. And that's why we've got a great offense. We've got a great cornerstone there. and we basically spend 3-to-1 offense versus defense. And it's time that we have to actually start focusing now on the defense. Our offense, everybody on there, with the exception of Jason Witten, and I guess you could say now Des Bryant, are young guys. They're pretty much set for the next, and having our offensive line pretty much signed, they're set for the next 4 or 5 years without needing to make major impacts. So look for the team to start saying, okay, let's put that same kind of focus on the defense. It may take a year or two to really get a lot of those key players there, but I think we're going to get there. And when we do, we're going to have a great team for that window. At least that's the way I feel. But we're still making up for past mistakes, these bad contracts that we've done. You know, the Tony Romo one, he's not actually getting paid $24 million for one season. It's actually $10 million of that is money that we borrowed years ago, and the bills have come due.
Yes, indeed. And if we look at it, you know, how the Patriots get away with murder, physically, literally, by doing the type of contracts that they do, you know, it's just crazy how, you know, we pay so much money for our top end players and we get very minimal in return. But I really think that Stephen Jones is making the right decisions with the type of contracts and letting players go before it gets too heavy. So he's going to keep the core guys, of course. But it's just one of those things that we can just iron out the contracts, because we ranked number 5, right? 5th overall in offense. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So 5th overall in offense, and overall in defense, 19th or something like that. So if we can get that defense down to at least the top 10 or at least close to the top 12, then we'll see a whole lot different in just like in return on our production, just based off of the contracts we got collectively now, you know.
Yeah. Somebody was talking about Golf Swarm. I can't pronounce his last name.
I can't say that guy's name.
Okay.
Too.
Being injured, you know, basically he had what Des Bryant had a couple of years ago, and he's going to be out for 2 or 3 months. I was going to do a video about this. Actually meant to yesterday. But there seems to be the curse of Jason Witten. I don't know if you know, because I started looking at this, because it's not like the Cowboys haven't tried to get other tight ends, but for whatever reason, they don't work out. Because remember 2006, we got Anthony Fasano, who was supposed to be like, you know, that was a Bill Parcells type pick. He was going to be the next Mark Bavaro. He ended up going to Miami, but never really panned out. You know, then we got Marty B, and he couldn't get along with Jason Witten. And, you know, he's done well other places, but that didn't work out. Then we went to John Phillips, and, you know, John Hanna.
Yeah.
Galvin Escobar, you know, maybe we should have gotten Pablo. Okay. Okay. And then we had Golf, and we got Rico now. And it's just like we just have not been able to get a tight end since Jason Witten. We struck gold with Jason Witten, and thank God he's been able to have the career that he's had. But for whatever reason, we just can't get another tight end.
Yeah, it was really, when I saw the report, I said, man, because that's that guy. He can run. You know, Jeff, he's a good inline blocker. Right. He can flex to the outside, and he can run that real route real well with Dak Prescott. So I just wanted, he was coming through, and then all of a sudden, you know, he broke his foot with the Jones fracture, and this is going to be something that's going to be lingering throughout the whole year, you know, because we saw how it did with Dez.
Tell you what, how is it that your team in the basement, that you think that you have any room to talk about our Cowboys?
You said J. Watt.
J. Watt, he's up in there. Cowboys are so overrated. You need to speak up a little bit from the basement there, buddy. All right. I know you're excited about your Eagles, but they're going to be flying right into the toilet as always, buddy. Okay? Yeah, that's you're right. Galvin Escobar is big, and he can't block. You're right. And doesn't always catch very well either.
And the problem is with Galvin Escobar, mark my words, you know, he goes to like the Patriots or the Kansas City Chiefs or somebody like that. He's going to be like all over the map. Of course. You're going to be like, whoa, what happened to him, you know? Yeah. It's just how it goes, man. Like I say, curse of the Jason Witten.
You know what? Gavin Escobar isn't a free agent. He's under contract.
Right.
Yeah,
Down the
Jackie.
line somewhere, you know.
Yeah, I think this is his last year. And Sarah,
Mhm.
we know you love your Dallas Cowboys. I'm going to give you guys a tease. I'm working on something that could be really, really big, and I'm praying and hoping that it comes through. And if it does, it will be incredible, and it's going to definitely include you guys. So be on the lookout for that. I can't say anything more, but I'll be teasing it. And if you look in some of my videos, you'll get some hints of what I'm working on. So you kind of have to pay attention to all the surroundings and stuff. It might be a little hint here or there. So we'll see if you guys can figure it out.
Yeah. Hey guys, Cowboy Nation, don't be shocked too as well if the Cowboys with the 28th pick grab a Cam Robinsons of the world, or Ryan Ramczyk, or one of those offensive linemen. Possibility that they do that too as well.
Brandon Newton was asking what happened with Tony Romo because he just joined in. Okay, if you look, I posted a video just before I did this, which actually has a copy of the Instagram. His son, he has his son. I can't remember his son's name, but I guess he's about 4 or 5 years old. He's having a conversation. You only see his son in the video, and he basically says, "Dad, what about that deal? You know, you pinky promised." You know, he said, "What deal?" "That deal you promised." You know, and he said, "Well, why would I do that deal?" He said, "Because it's good for me." And it's being interpreted as kind of a message to Jerry Jones to kind of say, "Hey, you know, you said you're going to do the right thing by releasing me so I can go where I want to go and finish off my career, but here I am." I mean, last week he thought it was over with because he gave that emotional goodbye. You don't do that emotional goodbye like that knowing that you might be here for a couple more weeks. You're thinking Thursday, I am gone and I'm out of here. But yet here he's still sitting. So I'm definitely interpreting it as a message to Jerry Jones to say, "Hey, buddy, you know, I'm over here. You said you're going to do the right thing. What's up?"
Romo and these cryptic videos, man, they're something else, right?
Well, I mean, you know, he doesn't want to be viewed as a bad guy. You know, as hard as it was, I know, for him to go ahead and turn the team over to Dak, it showed a lot of class, a lot of character and stuff, and was basically building for the next team. You know, if you're a GM, you just say, "Hey, this guy lost his position, but, you know, he's not going to be divisive in the locker room." And, you know, because when you bring him in there, it may be that he is not the guy. And is he going to end up being a cancer in my locker room? You look at that and say, "Oh, he's not going to be." You know, he accepted that well. So he did exactly the best thing he could do in my mind, because had he forced the issue and then got put out there and then looked bad or got hurt, then his career was over with. The best thing he could do was kick back, relax. I'm here if you need me. And then if he is needed, he comes in and becomes the hero. Otherwise, he becomes a scapegoat.
Yeah, it's one of those things, man, that when you just can't, I don't understand it though. Either he's trying to be the unspoken hero, or he's trying to be the guy that's going to just stay along and be like, "Well, I'm not going to renegotiate my contract. I'm not going to do this. Just, I want the max amount of money that I want. But at the same time, I'm a Cowboys fan." I don't know, you know, it's just going to be one of those scenarios where we're not going to get anything relief until he's gone. You know, it's just one of those scenarios. And I just hate to say that, you know.
Yeah, I agree with you on that. So we'll see what happens on that. I don't think we're going to be taking a tight end in the first round. Sorry about that. Tyrone Crawford, supposedly, the only two people that we knew about having surgery were Tyrone Crawford and DeMarcus Lawrence. And supposedly both of them, the surgeries were successful. So hopefully that'll end up relieving the pressure on him. He hasn't, I'm not sure exactly what the problem was, and I'll have to do some research to get back with you on it. But he's having basically problems being able to raise it up over his shoulder there and being able to tackle with it. So definitely he needs that to be able to play.
Yes, indeed. But Tyrone Crawford, you know, he's going to have to step it up this year. But he's cuttable next year, though. He's very cuttable next year if he doesn't step it up this year.
Well, they drafted Chaz Green, David. The problem with Chaz Green is he stayed, you know, injured. He's a big guy. He can block, but the problem is he just has not been able to stay healthy. So is he trustable? You better make sure you have a good backup plan. That's all I can say on that one. And that's the fear, because originally they were looking at him to take over for Doug Free at right tackle, but he just has been injured both years he's been there.
Hey, there was 3-0 when Chaz played, though. You know, he covered for what's his name? I can't say his last name. I forgot his last name. Chaz
Green.
When he played Green.
Yeah, Chaz Green. Yeah.
Man, I'm horrible to remember names, but when he played for number 77, see, I can't remember names, remember numbers. When he played for, I guess his old age, right? When he played for Tyrant, you know, it was 3-0. So hopefully he can stay healthy and get out there and play right tackle. Then that could be a plus if he can stay healthy.
How about them Cowboys? Any thoughts on future interviews with Zeke and Dak? Mark and Law Nation, that would be cool. Yeah, okay. If you got their phone number, go ahead and give it to me, and I'll give them a call and see if they'll go ahead and give us those interviews there. If you can get an interview with Dak Prescott, then you are big shit, because Dak does not give interviews to just anybody. Very rarely will you ever see Dak Prescott doing an interview other than in the locker rooms after games or during training camp and stuff. So, yeah, if I were able to do that one, yeah, okay.
The only secret to getting these quick interviews will be like the rookies. You know, sometimes, you know, they not really knowing who they talking to.
Right.
If anybody knows any rookie that get drafted by the Cowboys, it'd be very wise to just go ahead and hit them up and say, hey, I got this guy named Mark Holmes and Jobu,
and Law
Nation. They
Nation.
want to talk to you for 5 minutes or so. You know, then you can just pass it on to us, and we can pick their brains, you know, from there.
Actually, I agree. Anthony Brown, you know, he played really well for a rookie. I look for him to take another step, and that's where my hope is. I'm not going to jump off the bridge. That Scandrick can get back to playing like he did 2 years ago before the injury. Byron Jones, you know, he's only 2 years in, that he can take another step forward. He's not a bad player as well. Anthony Brown's not bad. If we can get, you know, a decent cornerback in free agency, like I said, after June 1st, we have a little more money, and do okay in the draft, we won't be, you know, lights out, but I think that we will be okay. That's my hope, you know, and I know these Eagles fans are laughing about Nolan Carroll, but you never know. He might be in the right system under the right coaching and end up playing better than what he did in Philadelphia. It's not like everybody in Philadelphia is just like Hall of Famers, last I checked. So,
you know, Philadelphia best guy, Mike Jenkins, you know, but outside of that, their last year secondary was just not that up to par. But even though Nolan Carroll was out there, they didn't play at Tampa too. You know, Philadelphia Eagles didn't play that type of defense. So look, Nolan is gonna not be as out in space like he was out there in the Eaglesville, whatever, the Eagles Nation, whatever you want to call them. But man coverage. I think with this particular Coach Baker, he's going to have him playing the inside technique, meaning that he's going to force the receivers to the outside out boundary. So you're going to see just small improvements, because believe it or not, Nolan Carroll is just faster and just more elusive than Brandon Carr. Mm-hmm. So you're just going to see a lot better play in the cornerbacks. And the tape and film just doesn't lie on that. So for anybody who's saying that we're losing a lot with Brandon Carr, outside of injuries, Nolan Carroll is going to be hands down better.
Right. So we'll have to wait and see. And like I said, I'm not ready to jump off a bridge yet. But as always, this hour goes by so fast. It is 10 o'clock. So guys and ladies, I want to thank you guys for joining in on the conversation. Be sure to check out some of the other videos. Definitely, if you have not liked and subscribed to Law Nation, check out some of his videos, because he goes in depth with a lot of stuff, and he is fantastic too. So definitely show him some love. And we will be doing this again Monday night while I'm getting ready for the Benet Emery show. And if you're out there drinking for St. Patrick's Day, please don't drink and drive. Arrive alive. I'm Mark Holmes. This is Cowboy Jobu, and that's Law Nation. And thank you guys for watching the Jobu Sports Report. Have a great
weekend. I got one more thing I got to say to you guys. Are y'all listening?
Oh, I'm listening.
Don't drink and drive, and don't drink and grab a tata. And how about them Cowboys?
How about them Cowboys? All right.